everybody. I know lunch is next, right?
We'll be fast.
We'll be fast. It's going to be 2 minutes. So, anyway, welcome. We have Sagar and we have the Mayor of Vancouver. And Mayor Ken Sim has built a life in Vancouver with his wife Tina, their 4 sons, and their dog Hank and Kona.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
A proud Vancouverite, having been born and raised in the city, is an accomplished entrepreneur and the co-founder of 2 successful Vancouver-based companies, Rosemary Rock Salt and Nurse Next Door. Impressive. Maybe we can talk about that after.
All right. Absolutely.
Sagar is the CEO and co-founder of Multiplier, a SaaS solution that enables companies to hire compliantly in foreign markets without a legal entity. After experiencing the complexities and resource constraints of expanding into new markets firsthand, Sagar co-founded Multiplier to revolutionize the employment space. Multiplier has a presence in over 150 countries worldwide and takes care of employment contracts, payroll, taxes, and benefits while complying with local labor laws. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Navigating talent shortages. It's a big one. Let's maybe start with how best to avoid the dire consequences when you don't have the right talent.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I think, we live in a world where all of us, all the companies face talent shortage, right? Talent crunch is a real problem. And, I was talking to Ken backstage and he's been an entrepreneur himself. He's faced that challenge himself.
Yeah.
Now, I come from a world-class city called Singapore, right? We are, we're a high G per capita country, great education, whatnot. But we face massive talent crunch at home. If you talk about Singapore, we need roughly 100,000 software developers every year, but we only produce 3,000 or 4,000, right? So really the idea is, in this world, if you want to grow as a business, the most important constituent that you need is talent, right? There's a Conferry report which says by 2030, there'll be a talent shortage of 85 million skilled talent. And that will lead to an unrealized loss of $8.5 trillion. Now, that's bigger than the economy of Germany and Japan, right? So the idea is, world is going global. If you need access to talent, you have to hire where the talent is. If you're a Canadian business, you need to have access to talent in Asia, Eastern Europe, Africa, LATAM, and so on and so forth. So really, the definition of globalization has changed. Every business has to go global from day one so that they can access the talent wherever in the world.
Ken?
Yeah. So to give you a little bit of context, at the City of Vancouver, we have about 10,000 team members. And through one of our companies, Nurse Next Door, like I'm an entrepreneur, we have about 14,000 team members across Canada, the United States, Australia, and England. We have about 352 locations. And when you look at the healthcare space, it's, we basically have people that work in people's homes. And so, if you're to ask me 2 things, first of all, how we actually, we're a best employer in both organizations, and we believe strongly in promoting purpose and core values, and not the core values that people have to read off of a card. The core values in our organization people live and breathe them, and that's why people come towards us, and that's why they want to be with us. The second thing is there are a lot of organizations that believe in command and control, where the boss tells people what to do and that's what it's going to be. And that shit doesn't work.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. And so we, the people I surround with myself with, they're all servant leaders, and it's their job to make sure that everyone has a great experience and they're supported. And I think if you do those 2 things, plus you get rid of this culture of fear and intimidation where people are afraid to make mistakes, it goes a long way in winning the war for talent.
I mean, the theme of today, actually, it implies people don't want to work. I'm not quite sure that's the case. They don't want to work somewhere where they're going to be miserable.
Yeah, well, that's it. Look, I came from banking. I used to be an investment banker, and they paid me a lot of money, and I got to travel the world, and I absolutely hated what I was doing. Not that investment banking's bad; it was just terrible for me. So it didn't matter. Like compensation, people think that you can just pay people a lot of money, give them options, and that works. No, that's a nice to have, and you have to hit some base level.
Right.
But if you're a big believer in Daniel Pink, it's all about autonomy, mastery, and purpose. And he's absolutely right. And if you can hit those triggers, you're going to win the war on talent.
And Sagar, are you, the candidates that you deal with, what are they looking for? Are you able to get a feel for what they want as individuals?
Right. I think as Ken correctly pointed out, so I'm also a recovery banker, and
so I have two bankers.
Two bankers on the stage. And, I was talking about stage, and we have quite a lot of things in common. And he introduced himself in my language, which is quite wonderful of him. Thank you. So coming to the point, I think really what employees today are looking for is, a lot of times we talk about talent crunch. Employees are not wanting to work harder anymore. But really what they are looking for is what we call 3 C's. They're looking for a great culture, right? At Multiplier, we always talk about a culture of trust, transparency, and thoroughness. If gone are the days like, we talk about our parents and their parents, the generation was, the balance of power was very much into the hands of employer. Today that has shifted, and employees have a massive say in what kind of environment they want to work in and what kind of culture they want to be part of, right? The second C is compensation, right? As Ken was saying, as a banker, you get paid well, and obviously there are other jobs where you don't. And with the proliferation of globalization and remote work, what is happening is, a business in Canada now can hire somebody in Eastern Europe, but you have to pay them what they deserve rather than what they're getting paid there, right? So that's an extremely, extremely important point, paying the right compensation. And third is really about, are you hiring the right talent, right? If you are a business, let's say, situated in US and you want to hire a marketing talent, you better think about UK. Or if you're a business in Germany, you're thinking about hiring a law talent, you can think about talent in Canada. So really, whether you're building a distributed team where you can access the best talent, period, not the best talent in that city.
Absolutely. We want to make this as interactive. So are there any questions out there? No hands up?
Oh, there's one right there.
Yes.
Is there a microphone, or just yell?
Yeah, so the question was, how are you attracting talent in the public sector, and how does that compare to the private sector? When I was elected as the mayor of Vancouver, people thought we were going to bring a business lens to it, and that's exactly what we're going to do. But people thought that we're going to, slash burn, and people that work in government are lazy. We came in with very objective eyes, and I can tell you, at least in the city of Vancouver, that's so far from the truth. The people that we have there are absolutely amazing. They work incredibly hard, and they really care about what they do. They're just working in a broken system. And so to answer your question, I don't have the experience in how to attract people, because we actually are a best employer, and we already have a lot of people there. We just got to fix the system. When it comes to how we attract people in our company, it goes back to purpose and core values. So we made the mistake a lot of companies probably make when you start from a startup. First, you hire anyone that you can. You're looking for warm bodies. And then you go, okay, that didn't work. So then you go through the journey of hiring really skilled people. You think, well, if you have a lot of experience in certain areas, they're going to save the day. And they're great at what they do. But I remember when we did that, my partner and I, we hated our company. And it's a bad thing when you hate the company that you create. And the reason for that, while we had really skilled people, they weren't like us. They didn't share the same values. And so we went through a journey of defining our core values, which everyone knows now in our organizations. It's find a better way, admire people, wow customer experience, and passionate about making a difference. And so you can be an introvert or an extrovert, doesn't matter. But those 4 core values are, they are who you are. It attracts the people that love them, and it repels people that don't believe in them. And then we wrap it around a purpose. And at Nurse Next Door, which is our company, our purpose is to make 1 billion lives better every single year. And so people that are really excited about that, they sign on. And when you have those 2 things, when things go terribly wrong or things become really hard, the people that believe in that stuff, they really step up and they lean into it. And the people that don't believe in it, they're looking for another job. So it takes a lot longer to curate, but the results you get are absolutely amazing. To give you some data, our company, it's growing like wildfire. Our same store sales are up 47% over last year. We added another 150 locations over the last 12 months. And we're just getting started. I feel like we're still a startup.
Terrific. Are there any other questions out there?
My microphone.
No.
Thank you so much. My question to you is that why are companies trying to force people to go to the office or terminate employees like Elon Musk? He's not even understanding people shouldn't be forced to go to the office.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that question. I think we, obviously we love Elon Musk, but rather than talking about that, let's talk about the trend of remote work in general, right? We love the word remote, but let's not confuse the word remote with global. We love the word global and distributed more than we love the word remote, right? Today, as Multiplier, we operate roughly in 150, 160 countries where we employ our clients' employees. But if I talk about as a CEO, our own employees are in 45 countries today with 65 nationalities and fully remote and distributed. Now, if you think about the trend of remote which has picked up lately, right, there are 3 primary reasons behind it. One is talent crunch that we talked about. Hey, if I'm in Canada, I don't have enough tech talent, facing a massive tech talent shortage. Similarly, the way things have evolved, it's not easy to get talent in other countries. Obviously, Canada has done a great deal in attracting talent, including what was announced a couple of days back about H-1B visa.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. And the third is proliferation of remote working tools, right? Imagine, go back 5 years, there was no Zoom. Go back 7, 8 years, there was no LinkedIn. You used to use Skype and we couldn't even do a call properly. So these 3 drivers have really given distributed teams a massive impetus. Now, you will see varying trends and varying adoption levels across different organizations, right? Like not talking about a specific individual, but, we've run a survey around this and realized that the leaders in established businesses who are used to doing a certain way, right? Who are used to, let's talk about a 50-year-old leader of a massive conglomerate. He or she is used to sitting in an office and seeing people around him or her. And that habit is very difficult to go. But you'll also see people, new generation entrepreneurs and leaders who actually feel quite comfortable sitting in their house or in an office in a remote location and work from there. So really, remote is great, but global is what we love. Distributed is what we love. I can have colleagues working from Cyprus, but they can still work in an office of their choosing, or they can work from home. So really, you will see varying trends of adoption, but it's very clear that the future of the workforce is going to be global and nobody can stop it.
Now, retaining existing talent, equally important to face of talent shortages, right? So what retention strategies do you suggest to keep employees engaged and motivated, thereby reducing the impact of talent scarcity?
Yeah, well, I can start, and maybe I'll give you 2 lenses. Maybe one from a for-profit business, and then one in government.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or what we deal with at the City of Vancouver. So I think you once again, it goes to core values, purpose, and you attract people that, and I don't know what the PC word now is for tribe, but your tribe, right? And I say that word, I use that word respectfully. I don't know what the new word for that is. And when people feel that way, it's absolutely amazing, and people will go through walls. Now, at our company, we have profit share, we have equity. Like, I want the people that are with us to win. And when it goes back to the remote thing, and to answer your question a little bit and tie it into my experience, there are reasons why companies will want their people in an office. Like, I think of accounting firms, that's how they groom their next generation of leaders. It's through osmosis. They have to be there all the time. And so very non-judgmental. We look at it as an opportunity. Now we have the whole world as our playground, and it's our talent pool. So we're fine with remote. At the City of Vancouver, from a different perspective, we're trying to attract companies to come to Vancouver. And I can tell you, hitting people over the head by, like, we get this question all the time. Can you mandate companies to get their people to work in the city? It's like, or come to the office? Absolutely not. We will never do that. But what we will do is create an environment where our city is really freaking cool, where there are a lot of things happening and it feels safe, and you have restaurants and patios and music. So all of a sudden, everyone that works at these companies, they actually want to come downtown. And if we do that, anyone who has a company that wants to attract their people, they will come to Vancouver.
So it becomes a magnet, if you will.
Absolutely. You got to create reasons why people will want to get out of their pajamas and, like, huff it on a subway or in their car for 45 minutes, 2 hours to come to a place.
Yeah. Sagar?
Yeah.
They're great?
So, absolutely agree. I think he makes a great point. In my experience, I've seen three things that have worked so far, and obviously it has not been as deep as Ken's. One is really choice. Give the employees the choice of being who they are and work from where they want to, right? One thing that I have now understood very painfully is a churn problem is an acquisition problem. If the employees are leaving, perhaps some of them were not fit for your environment, or your environment was not fit for them, right? That is very, very important. So your hiring strategy, your hiring process, your selection process has to be very, very clear and laid out. The second part is culture that he talked about, and I've also talked about, so I won't go deep into it. The third is really about rewards and recognition, right? And it's not necessarily monetary in nature. But as I said, our culture is about trust, transparency, and thoroughness. Every town hall that we do every month will award somebody that, hey, this person was the torchbearer of trust for our company this month. This person was the torchbearer of transparency. So really, if you're in a distributed setup, really recognizing people's efforts and awarding and rewarding them is very, very important.
Yeah, exactly. Are there any more questions in the audience? Sir? Where ultimately actually you like to get it the big party.
So if I can paraphrase the question and correct him if I'm wrong here, basically, Ian Wire, Deloitte did a survey, and 80% of senior executives thought that their employees are happy, and then when you talk to the team members, they're like, no. Is that yeah?
Yeah, that's exactly.
And how do we bridge the gap? So I can tell you what we do at our company, and we're going to roll this out at the City of Vancouver as well. I don't know if you're familiar with Net NPS or Net Promoter Score. Frederick Breitgold, it's arguably the best customer survey, satisfaction survey, or enthusiasm score, and we've taken that to our team members. We ask our people, right? And so it's a brilliant survey where you ask one simple question, the ultimate question. On a scale from 0 to 10, how enthusiastically would you recommend working at Nurse Next Door or your organization? So that's the first one. They give you a score. The second question is, what is the biggest reason for giving us the score? And then we basically, there's a little mathematical formula. It gives you a score, and you can benchmark it, and you can see how well you're doing. And we make sure no one games the system, right? That will free up anyone's future who games the system. So it gives us a true representation of what we're doing well and what we're not doing well. Because I can tell you, everyone's going to always say compensation is too low, but then they'll tell you also why they stay. And that's the other question you should ask. And one thing, I obviously I'm not at the city or at our company anymore operationally. People do exit surveys. I think they're a complete waste of time. I don't give a shit about that. What I really care about, and I say that respectfully because, you know, when it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But the question I believe people should be asking is, you go to your best people and ask, why do you stay? Because if you ask them what's wrong, you know, people like a lot of times it'll be, you know, the comp could be better. I could do, but well, why do you stay? I love the team here. I love the purpose, what we're driving for, or this is like a family, or the time when my mom was really sick, you gave me as much time off as we needed to take care of my mom, no questions asked. You get those answers, you start to build a culture.
Well, we have 1 minute and 54 seconds left. So why don't you, two of you, just do a wrap up in my math is about 70 seconds each.
Yeah, maybe I just wanted to add one more point to his question, because that was it's very close to home, right? I think he talked about ENPS, which is employee NPS, which is very, very important these days, and investors are looking at that metrics very, very carefully. But the larger question that you're trying to ask is wealth redistribution. That is something that we deeply believe in. As I told you, I come from Singapore. You travel 30 miles, you go to a country called Indonesia, and your salary is suddenly 1/5. You can do a better job, you are well educated, you speak language in a better manner, but you're still earning 1/5. So really what we are trying to achieve at Multiplier is we believe in a world without limits, where no matter where you're born doesn't determine what opportunity you can have access to. So just to wrap up, I think really thanks for the time today. I think the key message from my side would be, we live in a world where talent crunch is a real problem. It's important for Canadian businesses to access talent globally if they want to continue growing at a fast rate. Similarly, it's important for Canadian government to make sure the laws and the labor laws and everything are so facilitative that companies globally want to hire in Canada without any hesitation as well.
Yeah. What I would say is, we have a saying at our company: our customer experience will never be better or higher than our team member experience. And what that means is, you know, if you want your guest experience or customer experience to be here, but you treat your people like this, that's what's going to happen. And so we live in this most incredible time right now where talent can go anywhere. I actually think that's an amazing thing. And if you just focus on making your place the best organization to be, doesn't matter what industry you're in, you're gonna win. And so I would just focus on the people, and that's it. You do that, the world's your oyster.